Chapter 14. Multiple Regression. Chapter 14 introduced linear regression, concentrating on analyzing a linear relationship between two variables. However, business problems are not limited to linear relationships involving only two variables. Many situations involve linear and nonlinear relationships among three or more variables. This chapter introduces several extensions of the techniques covered in the last chapter, including multiple linear regression, incorporating qualitative variables in the regression model, working with nonlinear relationships, techniques for determining how good the model fits the data, and stepwise regression. Introduction to Multiple Regression Analysis. Multiple linear regression analysis examines the relationship between a dependent and more than one independent variable. Determining the appropriate relationship starts with model specification, where the appropriate variables are determined, then moves to model building, followed by model diagnosis, where the quality of the model built is determined. The purpose of the model is to explain variation in the dependent variable. Useful independent variables are those highly correlated with the dependent variable. The percentage of variation in the dependent variable explained by the model is determined by the coefficient of determination, R2. The overall model can be tested for significance, as can the individual terms in the model. A common problem in multiple regressions models occurs when the independent variables are highly correlated. This is called multicollinearity. Using qualitative independent variables. Independent variables are not always quantitative and ratio level. Important independent variables might include determining if someone is married or not, owns her home or not, is recently employed, and type of car owned. All of these are qualitative, not quantitative, variables and are incorporated into multiple regression analysis using dummy variables. Dummy variables are numerical codes, 0 or 1, depending on whether the observation has the indicated characteristic. Be careful to ensure you use one fewer dummy variables than categories to avoid the dummy variable trap. Stepwise regression. Stepwise regression develops the regression equation either through forward selection, backward elimination, or standard stepwise regression. Forward selection begins by selecting a single independent variable which is most highly correlated with the dependent variable. Additional variables will be added to the model as long as they reduce a significant amount of the remaining variation in the dependent variable. Backward elimination starts with all variables in the model to begin the process. Variables are removed one at a time until no more insignificant variables are found. Standard stepwise is similar to forward selection. However, if two or more variables are correlated, a variable selected in an early step may become insignificant when other variables are added at later steps. The standard stepwise procedure will drop this insignificant variable from the model. Determining the aptness of the model. Determining the aptness of a model relies on an analysis of residuals, the difference between the observed value of the dependent variable and the value predicted by the model. The residuals should be randomly scattered about the regression line with a normal distribution and constant variance. If a plot of the residuals indicates any of the preceding does not occur, corrective action should be taken, which might involve transforming some independent variables, dropping some variables or adding new ones, or even starting over with the model building process. Conclusion. Multiple regression uses two or more independent variables to explain the variation in the dependent variable. As a decision maker, you will generally not be required to manually develop the regression model, but you will have to judge its applicability based on a computer printout. Consequently, this chapter has largely involved an analysis of computer printouts. You no doubt will encounter printouts that look somewhat different from those shown in this text, and some of the terms used may differ slightly, but Excel is representative of